SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader.
Thank you very much, Nancy. In your top stories in English, at 1 o'clock, the sentencing for 2 of the 5 accused in the Chanel Henning murder case and injuries following a taxi overturning on the M4. Good afternoon. 2 of the 5 accused in the Chanel Henning murder case have been sentenced to 18 years for murder, 5 years for unlawful possession of a firearm and 3 years for the unlawful possession of ammunition. The sentences will run concurrently. They were sentenced in the Pretoria Magistrates Court this morning. Disgraced policemen Gerhardus du Plessis and Willem Pieterse entered into a plea bargain with the state after pleading guilty to all 3 charges. As a result, they received lighter sentences. Part of their 50-page plea agreement is that they will testify against their co-accused, Ambrose Monnier, Prashan Singh and Andre Gous. 26-year-old Henning was shot dead last month while driving home after dropping off a 5-year-old son at a pre-primary school in Manitoba Drive in Ferry Glen, east of the capital. 2 Sandton police officers accused of raping a Johannesburg woman have been granted bail of 2,000 rand each in the Alexandra Magistrates Court. The case was postponed to February next year. Teto Mahlakwana has the details.
Magistrate Yvonne Prinsloo told the court that she granted the officers bail as there is doubt whether they are responsible for the crime. The officers' lawyers argued that their clients were wrongfully accused. The magistrate said while it cannot be disputed that the accuser was raped, more evidence needs to be provided to link the accused officers to the rape. A DNA report is expected to be presented when the matter resumes in the new year.
About 200 family members of mostly political prisoners who were executed in the early 60s have gathered at the refurbished gallows at the Pretoria Central Prison. The gallows was dismantled in 1996 after the Constitutional Court unanimously decided to abolish the death penalty. Correctional Services Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula ordered that the gallows be refurbished and converted into a museum. Family members will visit their loved ones' graves later this afternoon, while a cleansing ceremony will be performed later today. The families will have an opportunity to view the gallows when President Jacob Zuma officially unveils it tomorrow. At least 4,003 prisoners were executed at the gallows. 130 of them were political prisoners. The visitors include family members of John Harris, the only white political prisoner to be executed at the gallows, and the Volindlela family, who had 5 family members executed simultaneously. 22 people have been injured when the taxi they were traveling in overturned at the Jacobs Street off-ramp on the M4 in Durban. Netcare 911's Chris Botha.
We're standing off at a very horrible accident on the M4 Durban bounder by the Quality Jacob Street, Jacobs off-ramp. Paramedics are attending to 22 people that has been injured in an accident where a taxi has rolled. Patients have sustained serious injuries. One of them is in a critical condition, and we will be transporting them to various hospitals in the Durban area for further care.
Chief Economist at the Industrial Development Corporation, Lumkile Mondi, believes the recently held discussions at COP17 in Durban were for the political elite. He was addressing a business breakfast at the launch of the 3rd edition of Perspectives on the New Growth Path in Port Elizabeth. Mondi gives his views on the 2-week-long conference.
People are looking at bread and butter issues, looking at survival. So I was quite disappointed that those issues become very high level, and I was very pleased that very little came out of it, because we still need a serious engagement with the marginalized and the NGOs that have got less resources than Greenpeace and others.
And lastly, a minute's silence and a vigil will be held in the Belgian city of Liège today to remember victims of a gun and grenade attack at a busy Christmas market there yesterday. Authorities say a 33-year-old man, Nordin Amrani, killed 4 people before turning the gun on himself. One of the victims was a 17-month-old baby who died in hospital. More than 120 people were injured. Later, the body of a woman was discovered in the assailant's house.